hold on.
There we go. Yeah, no, I'm looking at my meters now. I'm straight green, so we're good.
All right. Okay. Let's see here. I started the broadcast. This is where a producer would be nice. And oops. I am fucking up. Hold on for 1 second. And um okay. And then Twitter. I don't like all this. I don't like all this silence. So here I'll play a little bit.
Yeah, put something on real quick.
I'll play something. I'm gonna play a little bit from Yoshki's Carnegie Hall performance, which was.
Yep.
Okay. That's of course railing on the piano. Okay, I'm ready. All right. Good evening, folks. All ye few, all two of you. Welcome to another great episode of Bunkai's Corner. I'm your host, Bunkai, and with me, of course, I got Jim. How are you?
Very well. How are you?
I am doing good. So, what do you want to discuss first?
Well, let's keep it easy. We can start with football.
Okay. So, not the turnout I was hoping for, but yes, it is. It is the Falcons versus the Patriots um, in the Super Bowl, and I congratulations to all of you Atlanta fans, and I have nothing to say to you Patriots fans. You can all, eat shit and die. Of course, being a St. Louis Rams fans, I would never root for the Patriots, which is like rooting for the devil. So no, I haven't. But congratulations to all the Atlanta fans out there, uh, getting it done against Green Bay this evening. Me and Jim had an interesting debate going on, and Jim just absolutely despises Aaron Rodgers. And so I wanted to ask you, so what do you have against Aaron Rodgers?
From what context?
Yeah, okay, okay. I don't think you've never said he was a bad quarterback. Well, no, you said he just,
No. I never said he was a bad quarterback.
but you
I've
say
never
he's
said that.
overrated. But I don't over. I guess we should set some context. Overrated. I guess compared to all the.
Okay, I'll say it like this then.
Mm.
I think the amount of plaudits and people that just blow him, for lack of a better term, and have since forever, given his, relatively mediocrely. I mean, he did win a Super Bowl, but you have to think Rex Grossman made a Super Bowl. Peyton Manning, when he won the one that really he was in charge of, because that one in Denver that he won, I mean, that was not due to Peyton Manning, that was due to the defense.
Right.
And despite how great of a quarterback Peyton Manning was throughout his career, he never really had that, moment of, oh, wow, he won this on his own, to be like elite in that level. And I would say the same thing for Eli. because Eli was extremely fortunate. Tyree and Mario Manningham making amazing catches, but Aaron Rodgers is talked about and revered by everybody, and I don't understand why. I think the main reason why is because of the team he plays for, if I'm totally honest.
Yes, but okay, if I can play devil's advocate, and actually I wouldn't have to play devil's advocate because this is the way I feel. Last last season, how I mean, he threw a Hail Mary and tied it up literally at the expiration um of regulation and sent it. And I mean, he brought his team back from the brink of death. See,
I mean, but it's a Hail Mary. You can't give that much to you cannot give the quarterback complete credit for a Hail Mary. It's a Hail Mary for a reason.
right,
It's not like he found a seam where somebody was just magically wide open and it was a fantastic pass. He beat two corners. He outsmarted everybody. He dodged the lineman. No, that's not what happened. It was a Hail Mary. Again, like you're buying into the media hype. Like he's not that.
okay.
He's a good quarterback, but he is not an elite quarterback.
So, but the thing though is that I used the Hail Mary. So okay, so even the Hail Mary against Detroit a few weeks earlier, literally in the exact same situation.
No, it was the same exact thing.
I mean, I just think that there have been instances in regular season, and unfortunately, and it doesn't extend over the postseason for whatever reason. But to me, of course, you earn your paycheck, as they say on NFL.com. As a quarterback, you earn your keep in what you do when the game is on the line. And I feel like that the dude makes the throws he needs to make to win the game. But unfortunately, just like last season and this season, I mean, the defense just took a shit on him. I mean, on the team. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, it's just don't. I mean, it's certainly not for lack of effort. The dude tries. I mean, he does everything he can to try to win.
What quarterback doesn't?
I mean, but he does. He makes the throws.
Not always. No, that's not true, and you know it's not true. And a lot of the drop passes that happened were because of ball placement. They should have been catchable balls, and you could say the same thing about the Giants. You could say the same thing about most of the teams that were eliminated. You know, even the Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys, but there were a lot of balls where you're like, yeah, it probably should have caught that.
Yeah, I agree. And in fact, you know that the Cowboys game was really a game where.
And I think the Cowboys are still, even though they lost to Green Bay, I think that they're definitely a better team, and I think the Giants are better than the Cowboys. Because it's a bad matchup. It's almost like a Street Fighter thing. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's just that particular. And I will agree with you on that. I just think that when I look at where the Packers have gone this year and last year, and it seemed like that for whatever reason, they can't put it all together on the one game where it counts. And
That's fair.
And to second year in a row, their defense absolutely just a no-show.
Well, that says more not about Aaron Rodgers, but that says more about their GM not addressing problems.
I agree, and that's what I was saying is I'm just saying that I'm not saying that it was his best game. No, he missed some throws and everything. Did he have a bad game compared to other?
I mean, okay. Let's look at it objectively. They were down 31-0 before he put a point on the board. He had a bad game. He played like shit. And you can look at the box score, and if you didn't watch, you could say, "Oh well, he did this, he did that. Look he didn't do that bad. He threw for 4 touchdowns. It was a 3, I think. He throws for 3 touchdowns.
Right.
300 something yards. Yeah, in garbage time, the game was over. They were playing cover to prevent defense. Like, are you kidding me? Get out of here. He played like shit. His receivers didn't help the fact that he was playing like shit. They could have bailed him out. But
and you won't get an argument from me in a sense that, of course, that was his worst game since week whatever where they lost their last game. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, it was not. Uh, and that was my point. His receivers didn't help, and his defense certainly didn't help. It
But he
just
also didn't do anything game changing. I will give him credit on one specific play. They were getting killed. I don't remember what the score was at this point, but he went on a run,
oh yeah, he
and
on the
he had
run. Yeah,
no intention of
right.
taking a knee. He
Yeah,
took the hit. It was like a 23, 25-yard gain. And it
because
was,
he realized that
well, you're fucked at that point, and you have to do it.
you know what that says? That says I don't have any faith in your receivers to catch the ball. You
Oh, well,
know?
not. I think it's a combination of that as well as just like he really does want to win, and that I don't question his ethic, but I just don't think he's. I don't think he's an elite quarterback. I just don't see it.
What does he need to do in your view for him to
Produce
be?
against top teams, inside and outside of the playoffs. Produce against top teams.
But does
It's
what?
no. You know who he reminds me of. He reminds me of Alex Rodriguez. That's the best comparison I can give you. He reminds me of A-Rod because A-Rod is the same kind of guy. Everyone loved A-Rod, even though different circumstances as far as the cheating and all of that goes. But the media was all over him. They always have been. They always were, similar to Rodgers. Guys would put up unbelievable regular season numbers. When it came to the postseason, you know what A-Rod hit? 200. He made
Okay.
more money than
Okay.
God
Okay.
in 200. But here's
I
the other.
would-
Here,
I can't.
but hold on.
Uh.
But there's one other thing you have to consider. When A-Rod's at bat, or anybody in baseball is at bat, he doesn't have to worry about a receiver catching a ball. He doesn't have to worry about an offensive lineman missing a block. It's all about what can you as an individual do. And I think Aaron Rodgers gets bailed out a lot because of that. And there's no referee being like, "Oh, that pitch was illegal, it's just automatic home run." Like, and really, I mean, it sounds extreme, but it's not that extreme because some of the calls that he got, especially in that Giant game, were game-changing bullshit calls. And
Yeah.
that's historically when you play at Lambeau Field and you're the quarterback, and you know this because you've seen Brett Favre, the shit he got away with. It's very difficult to ignore it.
Here's what I have to say. I'm one of those people. I believe that he's a elite quarterback. Yes, I do believe Aaron Rodgers is the elite quarterback. The only caveat that I can put it is that even the best quarterback can't do it on his own. He has to have everyone needs to be on the same page. And of course, that's no new news there. That's nothing new there. I just feel like that for the Packers, that when it comes to the postseason, like there are people that will be arguing that they shouldn't have won last weekend.
They shouldn't have.
And it's only because Dallas defense also took a shit.
Oh,
And-
but here's the thing about that, and I agree with you 100%. However, Dallas came out like shit, and I was happy to see Dallas lose because
of course, me too.
as much as I could say, I don't appreciate Aaron Rodgers as an elite quarterback. I do not will ever cheer for any team playing against the Cowboys. I mean, I will always cheer for the team playing against the Cowboys in the playoffs, always, unless it's the Patriots, and then it's just like I hope it gets bombed. But in that game, once they had their little flurry to begin with, that Dallas defense shut them down hard. They shut him down. They figured him out. Unfortunately for them, it was too late.
It's like the reverse of what happened to the Packers
damage was
this
done.
weekend.
Yeah, damage was done.
Right. It was like the reverse of what happened this weekend with the Packers. They were up.
No. But
I mean, in the first half,
that's not comparable. That's not comparable because one was a sheer blowout. The other one was, a much closer game.
Well, yeah. But I'm saying though is that on the first half of last week, the Packers were on fire. Then it kind of cooled off, and then Dallas adjusted after halftime, and they adjusted. And then this week, of course, it was the opposite. Packers did nothing, and then they tried to claw their way back in something. But by that time the game has already been had.
Yeah.
And the thing though is that there are people that would argue that the Packers should have lost, and it would have lost had it not been for the fact that they have such a shit game manager
They have a shit coach.
and Jason Garrett, because he made the stupid ass mistake of spiking it on first down and stopping the clock. Had he not have done that, there would have been no time. It would have been another one of those. It would have been. Oh, he was trying to get in. I didn't see him. Hold on.
Yeah, give me a sec. I'm still listening.
But if it was not for the fact that he spiked the ball, there wouldn't have been not enough time, and then he had to do another one of those Hail Marys,
Yeah, and at that point, we're having a different conversation.
Right. So oops. How do I join the call? It doesn't give me the option.
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh, did it do it? Oh,
no, you're good. It's already good. You're good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Skype has upgraded its mainframe. We're good.
Oh, what do you know? But anyway, yeah. So I think that yeah, there'll be a lot of people who say that the Packers should have lost last weekend, and it would have if it not for the shit game manager. So I watched. So did you watch? Did you watch both conference games?
I had no interest in the Patriot game. I knew that was going to be easy.
So I fell asleep after the first half. I watched all of the Packers Falcons.
Well, obviously, I mean that's always going to be more dire to you because you're an NFC fan. So
right,
to me, it's going to be the game you pay more attention to.
And when Le'Veon Bell got hurt, then that was it. I was like, that's why I went to sleep.
I didn't even know that. I didn't watch a minute of that game.
I mean, I watched all the way up until Le'Veon Bell got hurt, and then when Chris Hogan started popping off, and I'm like, okay, this is a guy that plays what sport did he play for that no one in America knows about? And then plays in Miami and Buffalo. Here's the thing, though, and we talked about this before, but a lot of people ask how in this salary cap era in football, how do the Patriots continually compete? Not that they get there every year. How do they compete every year and every year? And the simple answer is they know how to scout talent, and they never believe in overpaying for it either. You're never too valuable to be let go.
And here's the thing. The Patriots have brought in a lot of big-name people, but when they do it, it's at the end of their careers.
Yeah.
You think about Randy Moss.
Right.
And then Revis, same thing. They got just enough they got everything out of Revis that he had left to give. You look at him with the Jets afterwards, oh, my God. Horrible.
Right.
Horrible. Just getting lit up left and right. And you can't blame it on the fact of, the Jets are a bad team because he's getting blown up one-on-one.
Yeah.
So, the Patriots are extremely good at measuring that. They've only had a few fuck-ups, but, I hate them. I hate them so much, and I know they cheat, and they're garbage, but you have to respect them.
So,
and Tom Brady by far. I never thought I would say this because growing up, I thought Dan Marino was the best quarterback growing up. There's nobody better than Tom Brady.
So here's what I have to say.
In my era, at least.
Tom Brady, even if he did cheat, which I do believe they did, you can't cheat throws. You play the ball or not, you still got to make the fucking throw. That dude. But
you also still have to have the offensive line that will allow you to make the throw.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's the one thing that I think that people kind of overlook, especially if you're John Schneider, the Seahawks. Without an offensive line, does not matter who you got back there. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. And
and that was the biggest thing with the Giants this year. It didn't happen so much when they played the Packers. It happened a few times, but the reason why Eli had such poor statistics is, first of all, they had no running game. They were relying on Jennings, and Jennings was awful.
Right.
Let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
But the offensive line was forcing him to have 2 seconds on any given play to throw the ball. And when that's going to happen, it doesn't matter who is in the pocket. You're fucked. And that's part of the reason I respect the Patriots so much, because they always do it. And if somebody wants to leave in free agency, they get big. Cool. We'll just randomly find some other guy that's just as good as you, we'll pay him nothing, and he's just gonna do the job. I don't get it. I don't understand how they're that much smarter than everybody else, but they really are.
It's like they have a contingency plan for every fucking player on that
Yep,
team.
they are
Even
thinking
Brady.
5 years ahead on every given position, and that's what makes them so good.
Because even Brady, you know, when Brady was out, they go 3-1, with two different backup quarterbacks in Garoppolo and Brissett. I mean, it boggles the mind how they're able to just plug gaps. You know, it's like the Titanic, but it doesn't sink. There are holes, but they plug them and they don't sink. It defies logic at times, and
it does.
And I gotta call a spade a spade. I have to say that as far as organizationally speaking, they have the best organization of all of football in all of football history, because they somehow get around the salary cap era of.
I disagree with that.
You think they're not the best organization?
I would put them number 2.
Against who?
The Steelers.
In our era? In our time?
Historically? You said historically.
Well, historically, I mean, okay.
Historically, it has to be the Steelers. There's no argument here.
Well, the Steelers won 4 championships.
Yeah, but they were always the kings of doing exactly what we're talking about right now.
Right, but I have to say though that but when they did that, that was in the 70s. I have to give the edge to the Patriots because they did that in the post salary cap era.
But I mean, to play devil's advocate, salary cap didn't mean shit back then, because there was always like an unspoken rule: you don't spend X amount, because if you did that, you were going to break the league.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so a lot of teams did respect that, obviously, because if you think about it, if that was really the case, and then it came down to like a baseball situation, like a Yankee situation, where all of a sudden, and here's the funny thing about the Yankees, when they did win those 4 and 5 years from 96 to 2000, they weren't spending that much more than anybody else. And there was a few years they weren't spending the most. Once they started going like ape shit with the spending, they didn't fucking win again until 2009. Yeah. So it's just it's not going to guarantee you anything, especially in a sport like football, more so than baseball. But it was an unspoken thing, and it went over really well.
So I have a question.
Sure.
Do you think that the Falcons have a chance of beating the Patriots?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I don't think they will, but I think they have a chance. No, I'm serious. I don't think they will, but I think that their offense is good enough. If it becomes a shootout, I really like their odds. If it's a shutdown game, they have no chance.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I have to say, man, if you're a Falcons fan,
how happy and unexpected is this for you, man?
It's not just awesome that your team is going to the Super Bowl, but when they won in '98, they knew they had not a chance in fucking hell of beating the Broncos. True. Their team was never anywhere close that good. And the 2016 Falcons, they shit on 100 times on the '98 Falcons. I mean, as far as talent. On any whether it's offense, it was not even close. I mean, that was supposed to be the Vikings' year. That was Randy Moss' rookie year. They were supposed to go and win it all. That was supposed to be the Vikings versus the Broncos, which have been fun. That would have been fun to watch. I would have loved to see how the Broncos are going to stop Randy Moss, because no one could that year. You know, people. Yeah, you know, do you remember a few years ago that argument where Randy Moss was talking about? You know, he was the greatest of all time at his position, and Jerry Weiss was like, they go, you kidding? Look at my numbers and everything. But Warren Sapp said, listen, Jerry Weiss got the numbers and the rings. But when we played Randy Moss in his rookie year, that's the first time I've ever seen defensive backs play 20 yards off the ball.
Okay, I'm gonna just prove my whole earlier point, because you've taken it 360 at this point. That is Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady. The numbers always are going to be like, oh, look at my numbers. Look at this. Look at that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if you're a defensive player, there's nobody that's going to rather play Tom Brady than Aaron Rodgers. Period. End of.
Okay. I mean, but you know what the thing though is that we both despise Tom. I mean, we pretty much
I
said
hate
that.
Tom Brady.
I hate
the
him. I
guy.
hate that organization, everything. But I can't deny what the nigga has done in his career.
And that's why you know it's extreme for me when I'm sitting here praising him basically because I just discredit Aaron Rodgers that much.
Because and there is one shred of respect I have for Tom Brady, and that is that he did take a pay cut to help build his team.
Nigga, when you already have like 200 mil saved up, what do you care about 2 or 3?
But you know what? That's a logical thinking. But most people with that money still don't think that way.
Well, most people in the NFL don't think that way because they don't get taught things about how to manage themselves economically.
You know, and I mean, and I guess people will say, well, the only reason why he did that is because his wife is richer than he is. And fair point, his wife is extremely rich and has more money than he. And so,
but even so, how much money does a family really need?
But we talked about that. I mean, because it's like my uncle. My uncle's a doctor. My mother's brother is a doctor. He is a millionaire. Okay, has his own practice. He lives in the hood. Not because he can't get out of it. It's because he's too cheap to move. And so when I say, well, why do you care? The reason why it's so why I look at him and I thumb my nose is because he tells me stories how they try to break into his house every other day, how they broke into his cars, and all this stuff. I'm like, I didn't say you got to go out there and buy a mansion. I just said move into a bigger.
Fuck into mediocrity at that point. Jesus Christ.
Right. I just told him just move into a better neighborhood. I'm not saying that crime will go away, but he lives in Wellston. Anyone tells you from St. Louis, Wellston is a shit pool. It's think about Ferguson. Think about what you saw in Ferguson, Missouri. That's on a daily occurrence there. I mean,
is that bad?
It's the police is almost nowhere to be found because they're underfunded because the mayor and the city is run off with all the money.
Oh, so it's like Washington Heights in New York.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and so I mean, so when you call 911 in Wellston, it's the 911 dispatchers don't answer the phone. It's a bunch of pastors that will read you your last rites before you pass on off this earth, because no one's coming for you to help you. I mean, it's so bad, but he is so cheap that he would just
talking about now?
Huh?
Which player are you talking about?
I could barely hear him.
Mr. Matt, you got to turn up your mic a little bit. And he's not talking about a player. He's talking about his uncle.
Oh, yeah. This is my uncle, unfortunately. Flesh and blood.
Yeah.
And so we're going back to what we not to go too far off track, but I do have some respect that he is not so in love with his own fortune that he's willing to forego some of it to make sure that the Patriots have enough money to stay competitive, to sign the talent if they do find it. You know,
well, he's gonna make the money on the back end anyway. If they win a championship and he takes a $2 million pay cut, he's still coming up +5, easy.
Right, and then the thing about it is, what is he can go anywhere he wants after he retires. He could easily be a coach. He could be
fuck being a coach. He could walk into any major network and be like, I want to be an analyst, and they'll pay him top dollar.
They'll pay him top dollar because, you know, I mean,
look at Steve Young. Steve Young did the same thing. You know, he's made more money with ESPN than he did with the 49ers.
Wow.
That's crazy to me. But
I
I read an article about it and I compared it, and I was like, that is fucking nuts. But it's believable because you also have to consider the timing of when they were playing. He wasn't playing in the huge money that, you know, players are getting now.
Right.
I mean, it's just a different context.
Okay. So
before we carry on, let's end this segment on one final thing. We need to both predict Super Bowl winners, and then we'll go from there. So I'll let you go first. Who is going to win?
I have to go with the Patriots. Damn. As much as I fucking hate saying this, you know why I have to go for the Patriots? There's only one statistic.
Yeah.
You look at the last, they put the graphic up. You look at the last 10, 15 Super Bowl winners. Those who have a top 10 defense won it, except for 1 year. And that was when the San Francisco beat the shit out of the Broncos back in like 1986 or some shit. All the other top 10 defenses, I all won. And unfortunately for the Falcons, you got a Patriots team that has the number one scoring defense in the NFL. Now, if there's any hope for the Falcons, go look at the teams that they have played. You know, they've been on the winning streak, but look at the teams that they have played since they lost to Seattle. You get the likes of Trevor Siemian and Brian Osweiler and of course you got of course the Jets and the Buffalo Bills. They haven't played anybody. They haven't played anybody until they got to Pittsburgh, but even Pittsburgh, they were banged up. They lost Le'Veon Bell, and that was it. And that was so. If there's any, but I'm fortunate. I damn it, I'm gonna have to say the Patriots are gonna win. All right, you go.
Okay. There's no logic behind this, but I think the Falcons are going to win because Trump won. and anything can happen.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
And I did that on purpose because it's the best segue. However, before we get into the next segment, I think it really should be acknowledged at the third person on this call who has not been on for a very long time. I think you should do an introduction for him, sir.
Okay. Everybody, welcome back, Mr. Met. It's been a long time. So welcome back on the show.
Are you gonna talk, dude?
I was watching this. There are these Trump protesters in the library, and after like they scream for like 10 seconds, this Asian dude comes up. He screams, "Hey, hey, this is library," and then he walks off.
Oh, James. Link Bunkei the video and play, and in Bunkei, once he links it to you, play it, the audio on here while you watch of the guy that's versus the protesters from Live League.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. I want to see what your take on this.
Do I have
Personally,
to do?
I think it's hilarious, and I think it's actually completely fucking justified what this guy does. But I want to get your take on it.
Yeah.
Because now I want to shift into the political thing because obviously, you know, stuff's going down. But I think this is a really good segue.
So my question is, will people understand it by just the audio, or do I need to stream the entire video?
I mean, you could for
show like the first 1 minute. That's about it.
Yeah, it's like a 6-minute video, but there's no reason to show more than the first minute. The whole point is gotten at that point.
So will people understand if I just play the audio, or should I just?
No, I think you should stream both.
Okay. All right. So give me 1 second. Let me.
Yeah, set that up. Hold on a second.
This is the video he's talking about. The second one.
Yeah, click the second one because that's the one that I'm specifically like curious what your opinion is.
These are anarchists apparently, and
this ought to be good.
These are the anarchists that were like breaking windows to Starbucks and shit. No.
All right, so all right, people, I have. Oh, so you could screen share by application instead of just your desktop. Oh, that's great. And then they won't see my porn windows. Okay.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. Let me.
I actually never figured out how to stream on YouTube.
Oh, it's really good. It's Google Hangouts. That's what it's called. And it's actually pretty cool for people that don't want to indulge in. Okay, I lost. Okay. Okay, which video is it? The first video?
It's the second one. The second one.
Okay.
Second one.
Okay, you guys gonna get some like reverb.
The whole week from going to work, you guys
Well,
are
just
crying
mute your
bitches that
mic.
you lost, right?
Yeah,
Is
pretty much.
that what it is? Okay,
Yeah.
just checking.
Yeah.
Can we get out, please, sir?
Come on, babe. Let the ladies through.
I don't think he knows what he's doing.
Fuck you, your road block, you piece of shit. Fuck him. Fuck you doing again,
Okay, unmute your mic. This is just dead air.
Well, yeah, I'd be a big man with a fucking weapon too, huh? Let's go, bitch! Yeah, hit a lady! I don't give a fuck!
Or maybe his internet takes that long to load up the video. I don't know, dude.
She don't look like a woman to me! Get out! You got people trying to do their job and going to fucking work! You got to
Wow.
Back up. Are you gonna arrest that motherfucker or what? Back up. He just
Okay, no.
fucked a woman in the
Apparently,
car.
what's happening is he can watch and hear it, but we can't. Or maybe the stream can see it, but we don't hear anything.
Yeah, the stream could hear it. Yeah, I could hear it.
Oh, okay.
Did they see it?
Yeah, the video's coming up.
Okay. So okay, so go ahead and set the stage a little bit. So I mean, it looks like a guy who's just passing by gets mad because of all the disruption that they're causing, and decides like, okay, man up. And he pops Nick in his teeth, and the rest is history.
Well, like another part that I really liked was the one guy who is also a gigantic pussy tries to attack him with what looks like, a steel rod or
Oh,
a
yeah,
wooden
I
rod
saw
or
that,
some
like,
shit like
this-
that. He starts to attack him, and then the guy just disarms him. He's just like, "You're a pussy now. What are you gonna do without your weapon?" And the guy's like, police, please help." It's like, you're anarchists and you're relying on the police. Like, do you even know what it means to be a fucking anarchist? Like, you liberal piece
Wow.
of shit. Like, fuck you, dude. Fuck you so hard. It's so good.
I actually talked to someone on like another Irish network. Apparently, he has friends in that group of anarchists, and
And they did
argument-
nothing.
he can't argue the point. He's just like, oh, people are, they're denigrating the protesters for breaking windows for one incident, because they're trying to say all the protesters were violent, but because of one incident. But he supports the people that were violent, so it doesn't make any sense.
And here's the thing, because in Friday, we had disruptions here in Seattle, because protesters, we saw them. I was on lunch, and we saw them with the signs. They were walking across the street, and they were heading somewhere. They didn't stop. At first, we thought they was coming to the bank, because we've had it happen, being Bank of America and all. But they weren't. They just kept on walking down the block, and then they were just standing in the middle of the street. I'm like, what point is being made by you disrupting people trying to get along with their lives? I mean, those people aren't necessarily fans of Trump either, but what do you get out of making their lives,
And then even like, I think it's more of a mindset thing at this point, because even when all this shit happened with Freddie Gray, which we have discussed endlessly, I feel like, however, it's relevant, because when Baltimore decided it was going to riot, they didn't just riot for the sake of rioting. They rioted and then they destroyed local businesses. Like, you are fucking up poor people
I know.
already. Like,
I
what
know.
are you fucking doing? Like, what
I
is
know.
wrong with you? I do not I'll never understand it. And they say, oh,
I know.
well, we can't take the system anymore. We can't take this. We need change. Motherfucker, at the time of all that happening, the person that you're crying about, who is now in charge, his predecessor, or his person that's coming in now, Trump, was not in charge. You had somebody that was in charge, saw all this happening, and didn't do a motherfucking thing for it except a bullshit press release. So it's garbage. It's a double standard. The uninformed and these people, especially the young liberals, because I don't think all liberals are shit, but I think the people that are younger that just don't know anything, They try to just justify doing outrageous bad things in the sake of a cause when it goes far beyond what the cause is actually meant to do.
I think that. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, what they would probably counter that with saying, "Oh, that was just few people that like took advantage of the situation." Blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
I wouldn't disagree with that, but at the same time, those few people caused somebody who are paying, odds are, in a major city like that, between, I don't know, roughly, it's hard to say, between $5,000 and $30,000 a month just in rent, or you're gonna fuck them. Like, do you know how much money this is? Money that people will never see from that end. So if you can't understand that you're just doing more harm than good, protesting is fine. Protesting is not like something I'm against. But if it's just aimless bullshit that, boils into this other kind of stuff, I think it's pointless, and I think it needs to be fucking called out and addressed, but it never is.
Right. And here's what I go. Being from the county adjacent to Ferguson, and that being, basically my hometown. At one hand, I know that a lot of the destruction that happened during the riots there were done by people that wanted to live in Ferguson. However, that doesn't explain the massive looting that I've seen from obviously people in the neighborhood. It's one thing that, to be disruptive and, stand toe-to-toe with the police and all of that. But it's another thing to loot a local business that serves your community. That has nothing to do with the issues at hand. And for the people that have done that, whether it's in Ferguson or what have you, you need to take a close look in the mirror. And then this is what I really want to get to. People, a lot of people say when they're protesting that they're looking for justice of some sort. And really, it's not what they're looking for. What they're looking for is retaliation. And sorry, justice and retaliation are not nowhere close to the same thing. You just, some people are just looking for an excuse to act stupid. And that I can never get around. And I mean, and it, whether it's a Black Lives Movement or what have you, All Lives Movement, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, when Dr. King was marching, like the March on Capitol Hill, what have you, they didn't loot, they didn't go around destroying shit and all of that, which I can almost understand it given how blacks were treated back then. Not to say it's not happening now, but back then, obviously, it was a lot worse. And they would have every, but that's not what he did, and that's not what the people that followed him did. But that's not the same what's happening now. I mean, I feel like that people aren't really looking for justice, and they're looking for just a way to retaliate. But when they're retaliating, they're not retaliating against the white folks living out there in the suburbs. They're retaliating in their own neighborhood, destroying their own business. I'm like, wait a minute, let's go burn down this Walgreens. Oh, shoot, I need to go there tomorrow. That's what I don't get.
No, I think you're right. And I think it really is. I hate to keep pinning on this topic, but I think it really is just that new liberal / progressive mindset. And I think the most ironic thing is a lot of these people who say that they're about this cause or that cause, they don't even know what progressive even really means. And they don't even know that this country is not a democracy. It's a fucking republic. So if you can't clear the two easiest hurdles to get into a conversation with, then who the fuck are you to say anything about anything? Like, it's outrageous.
You ask what progressive is, they'd say this is the insurance company.
Yeah, with Flo, right?
I mean,
and also, as far as protesting goes, what I don't understand is I see these protests in other cities. Like, I guess I don't know how Seattle goes. When they protest in Seattle, they don't like break shit, right? They don't like break and all that, right?
Mayday they did. It wasn't as bad last year, but the year before May Day, they did some damage. But generally, no, they don't. They don't destroy stuff. But May Day, they do for some reason. They come up.
I guess it does kind of make sense. But when I see protests, like many protests in New York City, they do that bullshit like standing in highways and all that. I mean streets, but
yeah,
generally
they'll block the
generally they
Brooklyn Bridge.
but generally they don't resort to violence, like breaking into windows or buildings or anything. But in like other cities like Baltimore or St. Louis or like Chicago, I don't know. For all those cities, it always devolves into like these. It goes out of control, and these people just do fucking crazy shit. Like I don't understand. I guess it seemed like they just a lot of the protest organizers they don't know how to freaking protest. They just get people, they scream, and they end up fucking bringing all these degenerates. They end up fucking shit up.
It's unorganized. It's and there is no single message, and they often anger the people that otherwise will sympathize with their position. Again, I keep on asking, well, how does blocking a highway, what is that going to do? What was going to come out of that? I mean, yes, you bring attention. Yeah, you bring attention, but all you're doing is the wrong attention you're bringing, and all they're going to do is get mad at you. And people underestimate spite. When someone don't like you, they will go to the ends of the earth.
That is coming from somebody that's clearly never dated a Latina chick.
Yeah, exactly.
Because anybody that grew up in New York City, we know what spite is. Forget politics. We're talking about like real spite. Like we know what spite is. Carry on.
No, and I just shake my head. I shake my head at it because they're not bringing any meaningful change, and all of they're doing, and the thing about it though is that there's going to be a lot of businessmen in St. Louis or in Seattle or in New York and etc. Whatever this stuff gets out of hand and there's looting and rioting, the protesters have hurt them more than the people that are supposedly corrupt that they're protesting about.
Well, that's true, and
Yeah,
like I think it's sad. It's sad because all three of us are in agreement. All three of us are smart enough to realize what's really happening with these things. However, they keep going on, and these people that are so passionate about all of these things, I'm not even sure that they know what they're passionate about, honestly, because of their actions. Their words are one thing, but you look at the actions, like you and James have both referenced. How do you defend it?
You can't defend the indefensible. I've always said that.
It's hard. It's hard. It's a tough situation.
And here's the thing, though. And let me. For those of you that happen to be looking on the stream, Trump won't change, but marchers can change the world. Bullshit. Bullshit. I will ask, but anyone that will agree with this stance is that I don't understand what these marches are supposed to achieve, because as I just said, they're unorganized, they're disruptive, they're in a lot of cases destructive.
Oh, they're completely destructive. Did you see the CNN one? CNN's coverage rather from the main one.
Which one?
Oh, the one where they had all the celebrities. Did you see the Madonna speech?
Oh gosh.
Okay, so I don't want to link it to you because honestly, I don't want to give her any sort of credit whatsoever, and I don't want to hear her voice ever again. If like she just died, I'd be okay with that. However, CNN on live television let her say fuck 3 times because they were just like, yeah, whatever. She said that she had done nothing but, or no, that's not the right words. She said that she had been actively thinking about bombing up the White House, and then fuck you to anybody that voted for Trump, and then fuck you if you don't agree with this movement, and fuck you, fuck this, fuck, and it's like, how are you allowed to say any of this? And then the crowd is just going nuts, and it's like, what do you do? Because there's so many people, even if you're an educated liberal, you're going to look at that and you're going to say, you know what, like, this is the wrong way to go about this. This is not how we're going to get change. This is not how we're going to get other people to look at us and say, you know what, we should listen to what they have to say. Instead of just being like, wah, fuck you, wah. What she did was just completely asinine and just fruitless.
Right. And I will give this for the Trump presidency. The Trump presidency has done one thing.
I thought you said the Trump pregnancy.
No, was it pregnancy? Yeah, the Trump presidency. I would say that the Trump presidency has done one thing extremely well, and it shows how divisive and uneducated that United States citizens as a whole is. And because if anything, it really shows. I said this at work, and I have to be careful because at work, I work at a bank. I can get in serious trouble if a customer complains, because yes, even something as politics, yes, customers, especially I'm in a blue state. And so yeah, I have to be very careful what I said. But all I said was this. I said, you know what? I was like, do I support Trump? No. Of course not. But I understand why people voted for him. They voted because they see him as the lesser of two evils. They look at Hillary Clinton and they see more of the same. And people are tired of more of the same. I don't think that people voted for Trump, they didn't vote for because they liked him. They vote him because at least he's not part of the current establishment. That's what they felt like Hillary Clinton was. And that's all I really said. And I said, so people who assume that when someone voted for Trump, that they agree with everything he did, that's a stupid line of thinking. And it should be obvious. How does anyone argue that voting in Hillary Clinton was going to be this massive change, and you would see changes for the positive all across? No one would ever be able to convince anybody, no matter what their political affiliation, that was going to happen. When some people look at Hillary Clinton, they think of two things: more of the same and corrupt as hell.
Okay, James, I'll let you go first.
Okay, so on Facebook today, yesterday or something, I replied to someone. He talked something about Trump. He's some Jew that he constantly posts about like Israel, anti-Palestinian stuff all the time. So, and then I replied about how all these the women's march and stuff, how they're misinformed. They don't know what they're really protesting about. They're trying to say like Trump is going to take away women's rights and all that, blah, 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 blah. And I was trying to say like they're all paranoid. Trump is not going to change the Constitution to like take away their voting rights and all that. And then he keeps trying to bring up like, oh, women's rights are important and all that. I'm like, I'm not saying women's rights aren't important. I'm saying fucking Trump is not going to take away all that shit. He's not gonna make America into like Saudi Arabia or something. Like, what the people always like devolve into name calling and everything like that.
Well, it's not, James. It's not just name calling. It has to do with they look at things at such extremes. Because Trump is gonna make us think this way. Trump is gonna make us so it's illegal to do this. Sharia law was imminent if Hillary won. And even if it wasn't, it was going to be more accepted because that's who she's been funded by. And that's factual. That's stuff that you could just look up. Even without WikiLeaks, you could know. Just look at the Clinton Foundation. Like, these are the people that she's taking money from and not giving it back or saying, fuck you, I don't want your money. It makes no sense to me how a feminist could be so fucking overtly connected to saying, you know what? Fuck Trump. Fuck this. He's that. So did you even know anything about your own candidate? That's my point.
Nah, the rose-colored glasses. Once again.
Actually, Bunk, Jim, have you told Bunk about like Jordan Peterson and all that yet? Or is there?
I have not.
No. I really want Bunk to listen to
He was good on Rogan, but it was really long.
Jordan Peterson on Rogan, or he was actually recently on Duncan Trussell's podcast. That was one of
Oh no, I heard that. That's actually a much better link. Yes.
You might like listen to that one, and also this one with Glenn Lowry. He's this economics professor from Brown, I think, and he's also black, of course. He talks.
Yeah, make sure you get that one in.
Yeah,
I know, that was awesome. That was really good.
And he actually has one of my most favorite podcasts also, because the way he talks is like, it's kind of like talking to IRC. Like his points would make so much sense for all these IRC people, all this fucking bullshit they fucking spew. That one, yeah, you just listen to that one, and
I think the one that got me was a really good one, but it was talking about fake news and how this one study intentionally submitted fake news to see to various journals and see if they get published. Is like 8 out of 10 of them say yeah, sure. In fact, one of them like, hey, give me $3,000, I get it published for you right away. It's like, it was so, and it was just, you just shake your head. I loved it. I played it on the last show, but I loved it what Denzel Washington said when he's being interviewed about Trump and Clinton. He says, if you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read the newspaper, you're misinformed. Because no one cares about the truth. It's about who's first. Never mind what you're saying is complete bullshit. You just got to be first. And I'm like, that dude, he straight up laid into that guy who was interviewing him. Poor guy.
And I also, also freaking mad. Makes me like, I don't understand how people try to make it like fake news is something that created like 2 years ago. Fake news has been around since news has ever been created. Like what is propaganda, or like what is like fucking lying, the government lying about everything, or like
they act like that this is all new, like it didn't exist before.
Fake news has always existed. Like, remember who's the guy that figured out Earth revolves around the sun? Galileo, and then the church fucking executed him for saying that shit. Like, fake news has been around since the history of Earth, and people try to be like, oh, these fucking kids in California, they made the website for fake news, so that's how fake news got created. It's like so stupid. Like, smart ass people like Sam Harris even are saying that shit. I don't understand.
And the thing about it though is that the powers that be that create these fake news. See, the thing about it though is that this is the reason why we will never see a revolution like we would see back in the old days. Is because now there's a propaganda machine. I mean, they don't, it's like it's been said, they don't call the programming on TV for nothing. It's like now, since they control the powers that be control the media, they can obviously influence people to think one way or the other, even if it defies all facts and logic. Okay, sure, a plane crashing into a World Trade Center. Yes, one plane crashing into a World Trade Center that is built for that to happen, that can sustain that. Yes, that will cause the entire building to collapse. As if it's never been done before. Oh, it has been done before. There have been planes that crash into things similar to the Twin Towers, and none of them ever collapsed. But the Twin Towers, not did it once, but twice. But hey, that's what they said. I mean, people. It's interesting that fake news. I mean, it's part of how they keep things in order, how they stop, as long as they can influence people to think one way or the other. They don't have to worry about a revolution because they keep on fulfilling their minds with bullshit. And unfortunately, people eat it up because they're too lazy or too distracted to go find out for themselves. Because the internet is a double-edged sword. While most of the shit that's on the front page is bullshit, but stuff that's not on the front page is actually very insightful. Well, unfortunately, most people don't take the time to look past the first page, and they never think that the people that give you this news may have their own agenda.
Or like WikiLeaks. Remember when it first came out, people were like, "This shit is fake," and then that one Hillary Clinton staffer, she got fired for that. So it was like, oh, maybe it's not fake.
And it's interesting though because when when she was talking about it on the debates, I'm like, I wish I would give every penny in my penny jar if I could be like, wait a minute, so you're not disputing what was actually leaked, you're disputing about who leaked it. Who the fuck cares who leaked it? If this shit is true, you're corrupt as a fucking devil. I mean, it's like I don't understand how people aren't saying, wait a minute, I don't give a fuck who leaked it. If this shit's true, your ass needs to be in prison.
Imagine if someone leaked Trump's like tax whatever returns or whatever they're trying to get out of him, and then Trump was blaming China for leaking it. He's like, oh my god, why you care if China fucking leaked the goddamn taxes?
No, but and that's the thing. It's so true because what does the source fucking matter? What does the source matter? Like if you're clearly guilty as shit of something, well, it doesn't matter if it comes from the most hated people in the whole world. If it's factual and it's proven, and you don't even attempt to dispute it, like what she did, she didn't even dispute any of it. She just blamed it on everything else. Oh, fake news, fake this. Like, to get the fuck out of here. Like. Everybody that knows anything knows that not just in this election, not just in the last 5 years, not just in the last 10 years, not just in the last 15 years, etc., 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 she is a deplorable cunt. Like, she is everything that you do not want to have power.
And here's
the worst part is it wasn't even Russia. Like
no, obviously it wasn't Russia. No.
Right, but and you know what? And even if it was Russia, he's like, oh,
who cares? Like, who cares if that's what it took to get people to realize that she really is a horrible fucking person that has ruined South American and Middle Eastern countries, and then fuck her. Like, who cares?
And the thing though is that then you come out and say, oh my gosh, look at the Russians interfering with America's voting system. Wait a minute, you call it interference when someone is showing
presenting
others the truth?
Facts.
Presenting the truth, and you call that interference? How dare you? How dare you show the truth to us during a voting campaign?
And you know what? This is rare for me, but I'm really grateful that I'm talking to two other people about this at the same time that are not crazy, because you guys see it for what it is, and it really is. Like, whether you're Democratic or Republican, you have to be able to look at this woman and look at the facts for her history and be like, look, this was no good. She's just no good. And so I don't agree with Trump, and I'm not the biggest Trump fan, but to say that you can't understand how he won from a neutral perspective, that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Like, this was the easiest win of all time, when in reality, if Democrats actually put up Bernie Sanders, he would have smashed Trump.
Yeah. And then it turns out that they actually intentionally destroy his campaign chances, and
Bernie had the opportunity to be a real hero, but he took the easy way out.
Unfortunately,
because he came out against Hillary that time, like he might have became like a good third party, like major third party.
Yeah, and we're not talking about like third party in a sense of how it's gone like previously. We're talking about a third party that really would have had a chance to win the election.
And just to prove how uneducated people are. Hey, fuck the Black Lives Matter movement here in Seattle. They disrupted a rally that Bernie Sanders had. I'm like, do you know what that motherfucker was during what he was doing in the 60s? It's actually he was marching with the Black Lives Matter movement at that time.
Yep. Bernie was the only
While-
one that has actually lived what he's talked about the whole time. I
Yeah.
do not agree with a lot of things he says as far as his policy, but the guy was who he was, and he wasn't a fucking paid off person until now.
And it's really interesting how they they went in and disrupted and prevented his rally from happening. But then you have a black lady, the first lady, speaking on behalf of Hillary Clinton. I'm like, oh my God.
I hate that cunt.
I'm
let me
like,
just get that on record. I fucking hate that cunt.
I'm
She's a
like,
cunt.
oh my gosh, I would have told that heifer, bitch, I ain't saying shit about you. I'm like, listen, all I'm gonna say about you is that your shoes fit your feet. That's about as much as you're gonna get to a compliment from me. I mean, but I just could not believe, and it really shows you how many. And this is what I talk about. What I talked about with a lot of when people talk about what causes what's the most of the world's problems, and a lot of people will answer that question is with religion. But to me, politics is another form of religion. People go there to donate their time, their money to something that has consistently failed them in the past, and yet they continue. They're loyal to the day they die on it, even though it shows no chance of actually ever working out. But then when someone, and then, but it's kind of funny though, because a lot of those people shit on people who do have religious beliefs. I'm like, wait a minute, it's the pot calling the kettle black. You say, okay, you believe in some invisible being in the sky that rules over all, and but hasn't done anything that you've seen yet. On the other hand, you believe in some guy in the White House or lady in the White House that's going to change the rule for the. I mean, wouldn't it say that you both are crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the logical way to look at it. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying though, it's interesting how to me, as far as I'm concerned, everyone has a religion. Religion to me just means a system of beliefs and practices that govern your everyday day of life. It may be based on the Bible, it may be based on the Quran, or it could be based on Family Guy. I mean, whatever it suits you. Yes, people have killed each other in the name of God and Allah, but people also been killed in the name of Nike, in the name of money, in the name of power. People will use anything as an excuse to get what they want. That's exactly what they do.
Yeah, religion. I mean, yeah, you don't have to like believe in a religion to be crazy as a religious person. Like, any kind of dogmatic belief system where if you think your opposing view is the devil and you must defeat it, then that's pretty much religion itself. It doesn't have to be.
And you know what? And what are we witnessing today with what's going on with Trump supporters versus protesters? You see it. It's the same shit.
Yeah. I just saw someone Daniele Voletti. He's a professor, history professor. Great podcast. He posted that he did a tweet saying the alt-right and the and the left are pretty much the same. Like something alluded to the fact, and then people went crazy on him saying, "Oh, I can't believe you're comparing the left to the alt-right." Fucking crazy, and then he had to try to backtrack. But it's
Stupid,
true.
but to me, that's bullshit. And not what you said, but the last part.
Yeah.
Why should he have to fucking backtrack on such an obvious statement? That's what I don't get, because if you look at it objectively, there's no reason you can't see the similarities. It's the same fucking thing. So why is there even a debate about this? Like, I don't understand. And then when these people do have the balls to say things, and then they get called out, instead of being like, well, you know what, fuck you, I'm going to stand by my word, they're like, oh, well, I'm sorry, I meant it like this, or I didn't know, or blah, blah, blah. Like, that's stupid to me. That's stupid.
And you know what?
And also, like,
Oh,
when,
go ahead.
was it? And those are the same type of people that will defend Islam, and then they try to say Christianity is worse than it, and then when you try to bring up facts about what these countries in Saudi Arabia or even like Indonesia do to like women, children, they're like, oh.
I mean, dude. You and I, we have always seen eye to eye on all of this stuff, and we've always linked very similar things. That one thing that I linked you earlier, like Hamas, and this woman, who was one of the major proponents of why the women are able, funding wise, to do their marches yesterday and the day before, she supports fucking Hamas. She supports fucking all this horrible shit that's going on, but nobody fucking cares, dude. Nobody fucking cares because nobody wants to know the truth and nobody wants to know anything. They're just so dialed in, and it really is like what Ben was saying before. It's a fucking religious. It's the same circumstance as religion, because once you're in this deep, you're committed. Like, you have to go in, and I can't wrap my head around how somebody can be so stupid on so many levels.
That is, and I just put this out there, and we've talked about this on the last show, because, I was raised in a very religious household. My mother made me read the Bible all the time, and I had to read it aloud. And then actually, I look back on it, of course, I'm actually helpful of it because, of course, there's worse things to read. And second of all, it helped me because I was kind of slow at learning how to read. But anyone will tell you that you don't find any names longer than in the Bible, But anyway, so it's really interesting that we live, especially like when you go into the quote unquote Bible Belt. And I would say this is really odd, because when I live in St. Louis or if I go and I get visited by people that like, hey, you got to vote for XYZ, God is behind this and everything. And I'm going, really? Because if I recall correctly, Jesus said that his kingdom is no part of this world, and the world belongs to the devil. Why? So if that's the truth, and you're saying that you're a Christian, so why would you be supporting any candidate? Well, it's not quite that simple. Well, from his point of view, it was very simple. Like that's not mine. So I'm like, so I understand how people sit there and say, well, hey, yeah, vote for this candidate because God is behind them. At that point, I'd be like, oh, you talking about the devil? Okay, well, you might have a point. But I just felt that it was kind of odd that people, that especially, I can't speak for other religious beliefs, but I can speak from Christianity belief. But I just find it odd that for someone who professes to follow someone, whether you believe exists or not, but that's a different topic, but professes to follow someone who did his best to stay out of politics of his era, say, and try to use him as your rallying flag. He didn't get involved in it at all, period. End of story.
Nor should he have, but yeah.
It was the Roman Empire was in power. He didn't go to King Herod and say, hey, man, you got to stop this. He didn't do none of that. I was like, so I just found it interesting. But, and it's kind of, guys, I'm glad I came up with this. I want to talk about this. Was it you, Mr. Met, that showed me the link of the white supremacist, one of the top 3 in the entire country, was revealed as being married to a Jewess?
I don't know.
That wasn't you.
That sounds about right to me.
That it was. My gosh, that was great. Yeah. So the story was, I can't find a link for you folks. I will on my next time. So the thing about this is, this dude he's a white, neo-Nazi, white supremacist. So anyway, he got doxxed, and if you want to know anyone that doesn't know what doxxed mean, that means that you get outed. Like you try to stay anonymous. Someone's able to hack your computer, what have you, and find out your full personal information. So this is like one of the top 3 white supremacist / neo-Nazis. He gets revealed as being married to a Jewish woman. Now, here's where it gets funny. Not only is he married to a Jewish woman, But his wife came on the show that is about white supremacy slash neo-Nazi slash anti-Semitic. So in other words, she even knew. She was in on it. She's like, yeah, let's do this shit. And you should see the tears when he got out. At first he had denied it, but then when it came abundantly clear that he could not deny they had the goods on him, he like, yeah, I admit, yeah, that's me. I'm married to a Jewish, yeah. And then people were so salty. People like, what are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do? It's like what's Hudson and Alien? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do now? He's like, and then one guy actually made a comment. He's like, well, instead of shitting on the show, I forgot the name of the podcast. It's like white only. I don't know. He's like, why about we just talk about how do we go from here? Like, what do you mean go from here? Like, you got exposed. You follow the guy that don't even believe his own shit. And and people are mad. Why are you mad? You should be happy that he's been exposed. Because what it proves is that people will lie about anything, even something that they professively hate. That blew my mind. That was so fun to read the Reddit comments on that, because it was just absolute hilarity that people were so bent out of shape to find out that this pillar of the white supremacist slash neo-Nazi community finds out that he's married to a Jewish woman.
Oh yeah, I know how mad those kind of people get about Jews.
Oh, they get so fucking mad.
And people, and I was like, why are you? It's like, why are you mad? People lie about everything, even things that they supposedly hate.
Well, okay. So like bringing it like full circle with politics here, that broad that everybody thinks should be president in the next term, Elizabeth Warren. Look at how she lied about. Well, not lied, because she's probably like 1/1,000,000th of Native American. She made like a whole like press release about like, oh yeah, I'm a proud Native American. I'm this, I'm that.
Yeah.
Bitch, you are whiter than fucking chalk. What the fuck are you on about right now? What are you on about? And just liberals say, no. Oh, it's fine. She's calling out Trump. Get the fuck out of here. You're talking hypocrisy versus hypocrisy. You're just choosing the hypocrisy that's convenient for you to align with. And that's why I don't like it.
As the Emperor said to Anakin, truth is a point of view.
Scene.
I love that. I mean, everyone knows I'm a big Star Wars fan, but there's so much.
Hey, okay. Let's transition here. I'm gonna ask you about that movie, but we need to get off this topic. Did you see? You obviously saw Rogue One.
Yes.
What did you think of the movie?
I thought it was a very, very well-made movie.
Give me a score, 1 to 10. 10
I give it an 8.5.
James, did you see the movie?
I didn't.
Okay, so give me a score, 1 to 10.
I'll give it a 7.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 4, and I saw it. Now, Ben, you have to understand this. I love Star Wars. I really do love Star Wars. However, I've never seen a movie, regardless of genre, where I've hated every single protagonist as much as I've hated all of them in Rogue One. The best moment of that movie was when the villain, Grand Moff Tarkin, who is the GOAT, decided, you know what? Let's just fucking kill them all. And he killed them all, and they all died. That was the only good part of all of it. And if you didn't see the movie by now, and I was a spoiler, fuck you. Don't get mad at me. That shit has been out for like a month and a half.
I
don't care.
I bet that ending was why people liked the movie.
Dude, that's the only reason I wasn't
honestly,
like rioting. It was the only
that was the reason why people liked it.
Honestly, I'm following that category. I like the fact that everyone died. and B, no Jedi to be seen.
Yeah, but I mean, Ben, seriously, you can't look at me in the eyes and say these people that were the protagonists were either good actors, lovable characters, or well put together characters. It was garbage.
No, but
It was garbage. The whole thing was predictable
you know what,
garbage. It was a
you know
cash
what?
milk. It was so
See,
bad. And as a Star Wars fan, it makes me nuts.
But you know what the thing about it though is that I give it an 8.5. I love the movie because
That's because you're stoned.
No, I wasn't stoned. I look at the context. Okay, there were never, ever, 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 ever.
Okay,
ever.
Taylor Swift.
Okay, be good acting in Star Wars. It's just not what's going. It's not going to happen. It's never going to.
Ever seen an Ewok? Ewoks were the best actors of all time.
Okay, good dialogue. the whole purpose, the whole meat and potatoes is not. So I'm looking at it from that context. I like the fact that that you know what, there's not always going to be a happy ending and everything. I like the fact that everyone gets blown up at the end of the movie, and I like the fact that they didn't overuse Darth Vader, but still, and he still has some.
He was clickbait. He was clickbait.
Yeah, he did his thing. I love his lines, and I love what he did at the end of the film. And so for it pressed all of my buttons. Was the acting great? Hell no. Was the character development believable? Hell no. But compared to the prequels and the Force Awakens, it is like,
no way, dude, no way. Because I'm not even defending the prequels. I'm going right to the.
I was going to say, you really going to defend the prequels?
The Force Awakens was way better than that movie. It was way better because it was really hacky and it was really garbage, but it was enjoyable and it contributed something to the overall story that wasn't completely fucking predictable.
It was so predictable. It was so predictable. Go blow up a death like I could not believe they actually went with that story, that angle. Oh, let's go blow up the quote Death Star again. Oh, like motherfucker! I am tired of that. Oh, I mean, it was so fucking predictable.
Jubac did it.
I can't deal with it. I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with it, man. And you know what? So, and I'm glad that there's some now. There's going to be some offshoots. Han Solo getting his own movie, and then there's some rumors about possibly Boba Fett getting a movie. And everything, because you know what? Because I'm tired of them rehashing the same shit. I mean, I have hopes that episode 8 will, really branch off into a different direction, and be unlike anything that we've seen to date. I'm hoping.
It will be the Trump of Star Wars.
Okay, thanks for joining us for Bunkei's Corner. It's like, golly.
It's too easy, man. It's too easy.
I'm sorry, man. When they revealed the quote, the new Death Star, I'm like, you fucking kidding me?
And I know, but like, my thing is, how can you say that Rogue One was good? It was horrible. I've never seen a movie.
Man, that robot.
I wanted. No. I was gonna say the robot was by far my favorite character. Because that motherfucker was a shit talking motherfucker, and everyone else was a bitch. That robot was god tier. That robot was like, well, I'm here because you want me here, not because I care about you. Basically, without quoting him, that's basically how he went the whole movie.
It's like, okay, oh, by the way, so I looked, I swear, when I saw the robot talking, I turned to my mom. I was like, I know someone who's just like that. His name is Jim. Jim just sat there. I'm like, he sat there when he started talking that shit. I'm like, it says Jim will say the exact. She's like, who's Jim? I'm like, Mom, I have to tell you later. I was like, because that's just. I was like, yep, that's Jim. That's basically Jim.
Oh, it definitely is. I just shit on everybody. Yeah, he was great. He was by far my favorite character. besides Grandma
and you know the
Clark.
thing about, oh,
God
by the
bless.
way, I like BB-8 in Force Awakens
Fuck
because
BB-8. BB-8 was a bitch.
BB-8 was the only part that was moving in the entire film. Other than that,
You know,
all the rest of
the most moving part of that film was me moving out of my chair to get the fuck home.
that's right. The Force Awakens, exactly. That's exactly how I feel too.
Yeah, as I feel that badly about that film, I still think it was exponentially better than Rogue One. Rogue One was garbage.
Oh my gosh, man.
It was so predictable, and even though that you knew that Force Awakens was going to be a New Hope version 2, you still had more fun with that than you were going to have with Rogue One. Rogue One was just garbage. They never should have made it, but I get why they made it, because it's just money. And then we got fucking Mr. Matt, as usual, just trolling message boards, trying to find shit and talking to himself. He knows I'm right.
I honestly, the robot made the movie.
Of course he did, because I always make the movie.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm like, I just love it at the very end. He shoots them. He's like, "How you doing?" Ping. I'm doing okay. You know, he just pop off one of the robots' head without even looking back. I'm like, that
Yeah, who cares, right? Fuck it.
That was great. Okay. Okay. So, Jim, I'm gonna put you in the spot now. I'm gonna switch gears here. I'm gonna put you in the spot. So, guys and girls listening to this podcast, all three of you, Jim has 3 Switch pre-orders, and listen. We were all misled. I thought that Mario was going to be the launch title for the Switch, and Zelda would come in the summer or the fall. Actually,
didn't you watch the stream though? It said Zelda was the launch title.
Yeah. So, but I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting Mario to be the launch title and Zelda come a little bit later, like it's always been. But since that, obviously they're a lot far. I mean, Zelda's almost done now, and Mario's nowhere near done. And so now I want to play Zelda. I want to play Zelda. I want to play Zelda. Okay. I need to play Zelda. Okay. This game looks like the business. I need to play the game. So, Jim, I ask you, I beg of you.
Can't do it.
Why, man? I mean, I
explain. Okay. I'm gonna put somebody on IRC on blast because I know nobody listens to this. As soon as I said I had 3 pre-orders, I had a PM immediately before you even said anything about can I get one. And I said no. And then once I explained why, they were like, "Oh, that's fine. It's all going to family members' kids. That's it."
But
I'm
it's
not
not
even
even
keeping one
Christmas.
for myself.
It's not even Christmas.
I have money, dude. I'm a good person.
Good.
I'm really not. There's nothing else to be said about it. Like, I know it'll make people happy. Cool. Like, if I can help somebody out, I'll do it. That's family. If I had known that bad that you couldn't get one, maybe I would have pre-ordered and sold it to you for like $4,000.
4,000? See, this is now you understand why Jim has the money.
You see why I'm trolling? But also, that is why I have the money. But no, honestly, I'm giving them away for free. I got them, and it's just a decision I made because I know. I mean, that's a cool thing, and it's a cool idea. But even for my own kid, like when she's old enough, I don't want her playing something like that. I really don't.
What? I don't get it. Play what?
Something that's so portable. Like, even if you look at their advertising, oh, look, you can play NBA game at the basketball court. Motherfucker, you're at a basketball court. You should be playing basketball.
Oh, yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? Like that to me, that's bullshit. So,
man, you know what I can see happening? I can see like Delta or Alaska Airlines offering switches. Like instead, like just like you rent those movie machines to watch movies, you could like rent switches to play.
Well, I mean, yeah, because that's how parenting goes these days. Parenting consists of how do you shut your kid up and do what you have to do in the same sentence. And having worked in a lot of retail sales / environments in my past, People will do anything to shut their kids up. They don't give a fuck about the kids' education. They give a fuck, just shut up. So they'll put an iPad in front of its face. They'll put a 3DS. They'll put an iPad. Whatever. I just repeated myself. However, it doesn't matter because the ends justify the means to them. All they care about is just getting through the day without being bothered to actually raise their children correctly. Keyword.
But the children will not be able to fully realize, what they're going to be playing Splatoon 2 or I'm playing it for one of the best series that's ever been constructed on Earth.
I will say this. I didn't tell either of you guys this yet. I mean, it's not really big news, but I've been building my own Galaga arcade cabinet.
What?
How much do you think it's cost?
10K.
James, please. No, not even close. Ben, take a guess here.
How much?
Yeah, for a homemade one.
Hopefully less than $500.
Exactly. And then we got the Korean over here who's supposed to know about technology saying $10,000. This fucking motherfucker.
This is a Galaga.
No, it's just Galaga, and it's gonna be godlike. Like literally $300 is final end product, but it's gonna be amazing, man.
Okay, so let me ask you guys something since we're talking about video games. So
I hate Street Fighter.
All right. I don't know that. So, but I need you to put your objective cap on for a second. I need you to put your objective cap on.
I can't find it, but I'll try.
Okay. So we got thrown a curveball, Ultra Street Fighter 2.
Oh no, that shit's ass. That shit is so ass. First of all, Sirlin. Second of all, Violent Ken. Third of all, Evil Ryu. Fourth of all, why are you touching a classic game? Go fuck yourself, you cash grabbing cunts.
But number one is not true.
Cunts.
Number one, it is not HD remix. No relation, other than the graphics that they used for it.
So it has a relation.
The graphics, but none of the gameplay. Okay. No, but they've said no. I mean, none of the changes that Sterling did with Super Turbo are in the game. Ryu does not have a fake fireball. Now let me tell you something. So I think they're making this is from Vesper Arcade. This is absolute bullshit. Apparently, Violent Ken has a double. It has a basically
double super.
He has a touch of death combo. That's like this: jumping hard kick, crouching medium kick, cancel into roundhouse hurricane, dizzy.
Sounds like a really good game.
And then you do it again, and they're dead.
That sounds so good.
Oh, by the way, like even with you, his hop kick that they put into this game is actually an overhead. Wow, that's so. So I mean, I don't know if they were really going. They say rebalance. I don't know. Balance is really what they're going after. It looks like that. So they're touting this game as a legitimate. They're saying that this is a legitimate successor to Super Turbo, as Super Turbo was to Super.
I'm not gonna comment.
Wizard's reaction was funny because I was like, we're gonna have a exhibition at Evo. He's like, we ain't putting that shit up. Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that, motherfucker.
Okay, I could say a lot of insider shit playing that Wizard and I have talked about in person, but I'm just gonna let it go. But all I'll say is like, dude, the problem isn't Capcom. The problem is all of these fucking idiots that keep wasting money on garbage Capcom products. Because if I was Capcom and I had to put in no effort to anything and people were still going to make millions of dollars, I'm going to do that all day. It makes sense business-wise. Why not? But goddamn, they are fucking hacks.
I really do think that it's time for me to move over to Guilty Gear.
You say that, but then you're
It'll
doing
never
what
happen.
people have said for years.
It'll
You-
never
no, no, no. And as a Tekken player first, I'm always a Tekken player first. Like, I always laugh at when Capcom players say things like that, because even if you buy the game and then you play it, you'll play it for a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month, 2 months tops. And then you're going to go right back to that same garbage, because the ceiling of knowing how to play the game is much lower in Capcom games. Even in Marvel, and people are like, "Oh, well, Marvel's hard to play." It's like, is it really? Is it really hard to play? Do you know what a just frame actually is? Like, and these bullshit 50-50 income. I don't even want to get into it, but it's a common argument that everybody always makes. I wish more people play games like Guilty Gear, and I wish more people play games like Tekken, but it's not going to happen.
Now, just for the
Learning
record,
curve is too high, man. It's too high.
You despise Tekken 7, right?
No, I don't despise it. I don't like it,
Oh,
but
you
I
don't
don't
like it.
despise it.
Okay, but you like Tekken Tag Tournament 2 as your favorite.
Oh, that game. It's not my favorite of all time, but it's my favorite of all the modern games. Yes.
Modern games. That's out. Okay.
It's most honest.
Okay. I give it. Okay. I was just thinking that, Guilty Gear, maybe I should give Skullgirls a try, It's just
No, Skullgirls is trash.
You're gonna play on PC?
Huh?
You're gonna play on the computer on Steam?
But Skullgirls is out on PS4, is it not?
Dude, Mr. Matt will fuck
I
you
thought-
up in that game, bro.
I thought you built a PC, didn't you?
Okay. I'm waiting for, because now that I'm comfortable building PCs, because I built 3 of them in the last 7 months. I am waiting to hear details about AMD's Ryzen, because the word on the street, and I don't put any stock in it. They're saying that you can get basically like a comparable of an i7 6700K from a Ryzen CPU for $200. Now, if that turns out to be true, then my gaming PC I will use AMD's Ryzen, but I don't see that happening. But I know, it's competitive and it's great. The competition breeds improvement on both sides. So I'm seeing if that comes out to be true. Because, Intel is still king right now, but they make you pay a king's ransom for their CPUs, and I'm a cheap ass. I'm not paying. I would like to pay no more than $200.
It's because you're poor.
That too. I am poor,
No, man, I'm just fucking with you.
and it's fine. I'm unabashedly.
I mean, when you look at what hardware is actually required for a lot of these things, it's just so over extreme, and people feel the need to every single year. It's just like cars. You have a 2015 model. Oh, that's shit. I got a 2016. I have to get this, and it's stupid because they're still going to serve the purpose. There's no reason why they can't, unless you buy bottom bins. Then in which case, it's kind of different. But I don't understand people always doing new things every single year, unless you just have that much kind of money to blow. And I don't know. For me, priority wise, it's not important.
Well,
I paid $800 for my desktop and monitor like 2 years ago, and still pretty goddamn good.
And here's the thing. The one demonstration that caught my eye at this past CES was they had, because they had the Ryzen CPU. They also had their new graphics card codenamed Vega, and they were running. Was it Battlefield? I believe it was Battlefield, but I might be wrong. They were running at 4K at 60 frames per second. Now, that got my attention. Because if that translates over, because that's what I'm shooting for. My next gaming rig, I want to be powerful. I want to be future proof as much as it possibly can. Where, because I know 4K is where it's going to be at. I want to be able to build a system that can do 4K at 60 frames per second.
Okay.
Well, 4K is not future true because 8K is already shown.
I know. I saw that the Dales they can do 8K, but I figure they're a good 5 to 7 years out before they can do 8K at.
I could do that today.
like before it's like mainstream,
Well, I mean, I'm not mainstream. If I had a camera that could do 8K, I could mix in 8K right now. So and I'm not even like super high end in the video thing. I just am blessed by the suites I have. So it's not that far off. So to say 5 to 7 years is just ludicrous. Because the GoPro that comes out, the next one, the 6, is going to be an 8K camera. Absolutely.
Well, I don't. Well, camera is one thing, but I'm saying gaming.
But it doesn't
8K,
matter because if the camera is not able to go into the computer and have things ready to go, then that's bullshit. There's no point. I'm telling you right now, I'm already able to do 8K. So when the GoPro comes out and it's $600 fucking and you can film in 8K, then you're fucked on the setup you have right now if it's set up for 4K.
Then what am I supposed to do then?
Never buy anything ever again.
Okay.
Vote for Trump.
Yeah.
Well, this has been informative.
I mean, honestly, though, like computers to me are the worst investment in the whole world. They really are. Like when you build a computer, that's how you should do it. You should build it. You should not buy anything stock made, and you should build something that's specific to what you need the computer to do for the foreseeable future. You should not do it with the intentions of trying to be able to keep up with technology. That's a horrible way to look at things because if you're going to do that, you're always going to be behind.
Yeah, but
And there's
but I'm not aiming for the stars. I just wanted to be able to do 4K.
I know that, but then what's the point? Because right now, even building a 4K, like, what do you want to do with 4K? Do you want to edit 4K? Do you want to stream 4K? What do you want to do with 4K?
This game.
I mean, so yeah, decent graphics card. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it's still relatively expensive.
Yeah, I know. And so I wanted to, that's what I was saying is that I'm hoping that the next generation of AMD's graphics as well as the CPU will be cheaper than Intel's, and therefore my cheap ass can buy it. But that's hoping for a lot.
Yeah, it's good to have hopes.
That way you have something to be dashed to the ground and spit upon. Oh my God. I forgot to tell you folks, I'm so happy Monday I got my car back. It's only been 3.5 months. God, let me just say, Chevy, fuck you. I've had an Impala, a Cruise, and a Sonic in that order. So I went down from an Impala to a Cruise to a Sonic. And guess what? I hated the Impala that I liked the Cruise better. And then when I got the Sonic, I liked the Sonic better than the Cruise. And why does the Sonic have a backup camera, but the Cruise don't? And the Sonic we have for $12,000. By the way, the shitty ass cars. Oh my God. And the Impala was the worst. I have never drove such shit in my life. So my car, you can't feel the car changing gears. In that car, the car bucks like nobody be like, I'm like, what the hell? I thought the transmission was going out on the car. Because it threw me back in my seat every time I changed his gear. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
Ben, I was saving this because I was hoping you were going to talk about cars. I went out today. I have an official track slip. What did I do?
For quarter mile?
Yep.
How much? What was you running? How much boost was you running? Was you on full boost? Did you go?
I was running 25.
Okay. I'm hoping for a 12.5.
Lower.
Wow, 12.3?
Lower.
12.1.
1204.
You really hooked up. I mean,
Well, I put on
relationship.
good tires today.
Oh, okay.
If I had pushed a little more, easy 11. Easy 11. This car is scary for how like cheap it is. It's scary.
So
It's so scary.
So did you? So when you launched it, did you get a good workout for your for your
No, man,
arms?
I'm used to it, but I could
Uh.
see how some people will be like, "What the fuck?" But dude, it literally first gear is, oh, it's horrible because you feel the whole chassis of the car because you can't let go of the shaft itself, so you have to just keep holding on to the gear shift before you get out. And then second gear is not much better, but because I had good traction, it was just second gear was just boom, third gear was just boom. I didn't even hit fourth gear before I clocked out. It's ridiculous. The car is so fucking quick.
What was the trap speed?
So fucking quick. You get one guess. I'll tell you if you're way over or way under.
122. Wait a minute.
You're really close. You're really close.
Oh. A
You're
little
actually
bit
really
over.
close. 124.
Oh, okay.
Telling you, man, like for cost to dollar ratio, you're not going to get better than this car.
So you should tell people. Okay, so for the people out there, I guess we should kind of preface this. So
it's a 2016 GTI.
Okay, it's
Performance
Volkswagen.
package. And I think honestly, a lot of people will be thrown off by that because there's two GTI models. There's the one that's a normal one, and there's the one that comes with the limited slip differential. I have the one with the limited slip differential. So when it comes to this kind of specific shit, it's a gigantic advantage. Yeah, it adds a little weight, but it's fucking, you cannot measure it. Like, it's so much better to have a limited slip.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't even. I don't know if I even attempt it without that. I mean, that would be my suicide. So let people know how much horsepower your car makes stop.
To the wheels, when I first dynoed it, it was 207, I think. But
Which
it was
is
like
great because what is it weighted? What is it rated? This is great German underrating for you. What is it rated at the crank from the factory?
I don't know. Honest to God, you're gonna have to Google that. I don't want to lie. I don't know.
Honestly, but I believe it is
maybe 210.
Yeah, that's what I say. I think it's 207, 210.
Yeah, but no, that's what surprised me, and that's why I invested money into the car because I was like, holy shit, this is incredible. So this car now, it's just it's stage 2, basic. Well, it's not really basic, but improved. I upgraded the axles, intake manifold, header back exhaust, and then I'm on stock internals and a stage 2 APR tune, and I am just blowing people away. Like, it's not fair. It's really not fair.
By the way,
I was literally toying with an STI the other day, just toying with it.
Are you still in the stock clutch?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you living it.
It's insane. Like, the car is just quick, dude. Like, and to me, like, I'm not saying it's like the end all because it's obviously not. It's not one of those cars where you're like, oh, I'm gonna rape everybody. I'm so fucking cool. Da 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 da. Like, it's just a super fucking affordable, quick ass car if you just put the money in the right place.
Sleeper. You should be.
But it's not a sleeper because people that know about cars right now, like, I destroyed an M3 to the fact that the guy followed me and had to stop and be like, what did you do to that car? And I was just like, really nothing, because that was when I was at stage 1. All I had was a flash, and I destroyed a new M3. Destroyed it. It was a completely mismatched.
Now, folks, you got to keep in mind, people like, how does a GTI destroy a brand new M3? Keep in mind that.
Well, no, you have to know this, because the APR tune is, like Ben was going to say, it's going to give you 80 to the wheels and 90 to 95 torque to the wheels. So you're talking about a car that's going to weigh probably 500 to 600 pounds less than what you're talking
Exactly.
about with that much fucking shit.
That's
Extra
exactly
power.
it. Because people be like, how does
And
it
we're
have
not
to-
talking about from a dig, because from a dig, the M3 is going to have a huge advantage. We're talking about once you're already moving. So it's a
Right.
lot of things you have to take into consideration, but these cars don't stand a fucking chance at that point. And then they're just shocked.
So you be going to the little car races, you know? Huh, Jim? Not just kidding. I know you're not into that,
Nah.
but
I just find it very interesting how well they built this car and how underrated they built the car. Hell of a car, man. I cannot recommend them enough. You know what sucks? This was the last year you can get them in the two-door. Every GTI from now on, 4 doors. Well, technically 5 because they count the trunk as a door, but whatever. You know what I mean?
right. So let me ask you a question. So has it ever occurred to you to get the top model?
No point. And the reason I say there's no point is because I live in Southern California.
Mhm.
And the biggest differential is not the engine, it's not the transmission, it's not anything. It has to do with the drivetrain. So for me, front wheel drive is not a problem. If I was really worried about every year or every month of the year working out well, then yeah, maybe I would consider all wheel drive. And that's all the difference between the R32 and the GTI is. I mean, besides obvious power, but that's the biggest difference.
I'm jealous because you have a nice plaything in the bedroom and as well as the garage. And
Yeah, I'm doing okay for myself.
yeah, and I have a boat.
Oh, Ben, did I show you the video we made?
Mm-mm.
Oh, dude, hold on. So we decided that every week we're going to... Hold on. Oh, God, I hate YouTube contents. Anyway, we decided that every week we're going to put up a new video, even if it's just bullshit. And so we made one last week, random cover song. So I will send it to you now. Hold on.
By the way, do you like Lucas Graham?
No. Not particularly.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
All right.
Oh, Jim, did you see
No, I have been ignoring that shit hard.
I asked
I respect that. March 2077. Yeah, don't go get because Ben is good. It's just not good. So I'm gonna go back to Solo Pirates. Smash Brothers. Dude, what the fuck? Why are we talking about Smash Brothers? Who was?
I hear the ground bang bang, that awful sound bang bang, my baby something down.
Dude, what do you think about Shell getting so fucked up? Yeah, Shell Sharma.
this whole time he was complaining about how hard the camera.
Yes, folks, this is Jim.
Seasons came and changed the time. When I grew up, I called him up. He would always laugh and say, "Remember when we used to play bang
Seems like he
bang?
kind of
I shot you down bang bang. You hit the ground.
No, the whole
bang,
release date,
that
like,
I
he had his opportunity, he could have locked him into the Reveal team, but obviously he wasn't strong enough. And then once Tito got on top, dude, good game.
No, like he had that the I don't know what the fuck that choke is called, but he had it in the headlock when
Oh yeah.
and then I was very surprised that he didn't try to stand it up. He just when he got the guillotine position, he should have tried to stand up or like had a better. They try to move to a better position, but he just decided to just go on his back and like have like the half-ass guillotine. I think he just gave up that time, and then that was it. The fight was off.
Yeah, I mean he was pretty fucked, but I mean I thought he was fucked going into it. Like if you looked at the confidence that Tito had versus what Shale had, like forget it. Like Shale was doing it because he works for ESPN, and when's the last time he even fought? Like 2013.
Yeah.
Like that's an impossible situation to put yourself in. Yeah, you beat Tito fucking 20 years ago, dude. 20 fucking years ago, and you're still gonna talk shit. I mean, I get it because you're gonna try and sell pay-per-views, but at the same time, it was on Spike. You knew you were gonna get your ass whooped. You're not training, and then he goes on ESPN afterwards, and he's like, "Oh, well, you know, for me, this is a long road. I'm not quitting, motherfucker. You're 39 years old. You are 30 fucking 9 years old." And you're gonna talk shit, like you're gonna get back into this game and be competitive. Like, man, fuck you, dude. Like, not even close.
He has to because he signed a contract.
I know, but it's just like you can't be competitive. Is my point, though. He has to know you can't be competitive. He's 39 now. He just got fucking destroyed by a guy who's 41, 42, 41, 42, whatever, and is on his way out. Like he's never. It's pointless to me. I don't understand it.
I think he fights Wanderlei next.
No, Wanderlei Silva next? Are you serious?
That's like the only fight, pretty sure. He's probably gonna fight in Japan, I think.
Hey, can I make a request, Jim?
What's that?
Can you ask your wife to sing the very last, like the last few, the last tempo change at Art of Life, the very end?
I can have her sing the whole song.
That would be interesting to see, but I didn't want to put that on her. I mean, I don't want her to be singing for 30. Well, it won't be 30 minutes, but take it on. But I mean, I'm
gonna have to jazz it up because you see how I have to play.
I wanted to see you jazz up Art of Life would be a real interesting challenge, I think.
It's easy, man. It's completely classically designed. I could do that in a second. But to have her be able to sing it well is a different story. But I think she could.
Would you try to do it? Record both the drums and the guitar?
Oh, I would do everything just like I always do. I always record all the instruments.
Wow. I would love for you to. I would just love for you to at least or at least sing the last 5 minutes of it. You know, after the piano interlude. Your wife has a beautiful voice, and
thank you.
And if I see both of you together, I feel wholly inadequate. That's all. But it's great. It's beautiful.
No, it was just a fun little thing, and what happens is I always just Latino everything up, and it's so funny to me because people don't understand. I'm so good at speaking white English, and it's like my first language. Legitimately, it is, but I'm not white at all, and everything that I speak in Spanish is totally different, and the way I play all the instruments is totally different. So people are very thrown off by it. You know what I mean?
It's
well, no, Ben, definitely after watching that video, you know exactly what I mean because everything I do is very Latino based.
Yeah, I mean, and I love it. And I can't remember that one song that you had me listen to that your wife was singing. I forgot the name of the song because I really liked it because it stuck in my head for a few days, but I lost the link. because that was on my computer before it died. Um, Darn it! But hey, it was a beautiful little song that you were singing. But shoot, uh, one of these days I need you to send me like everything that you've recorded with your wife thus far, and maybe I can
Well,
find it.
okay, I will ask you this then. What song would you like us to play?
I already told you.
Well, forget Extra Japan. Pick another one.
Um, I have. This will probably be. I think she'll like singing, but if she can sing Alicia Keys, "If I Ain't Got You,"
She'll never do it. She hates Alicia Keys.
are you joking?
I hate Alicia Keys. She's a cunt. She has the same birthday as me. That's as far as we go as far as being cool. She's really talented, yeah, but she's a cunt.
Oh wow. Okay. So how about this is a childhood song. Whitney Houston's "Greatest Love of All."
I'll run it by her. That one I'll run by her. I think she could do it.
Yeah. And it's but I still kind of I'm still um I'm still at a loss. It's just because most of my favorite artists, or at least the artists that I am very most familiar with, are dead now that I grew up with. No more Michael Jackson, no more Ray Charles, no more Prince, no more. It's kind of surreal. Um, how many of when no more Whitney Houston. It's just all of the most of the famous singers I grew up with are all dead. I don't mean to be.
Well, welcome to how I am. You're not being morbid, but as far as guitar players go, I'm not inspired by anybody that's alive, minus a
Oh
few
my
people.
gosh!
I mean, it's a different comparison.
If you could resurrect one guitar player, who would it be?
Stevie Ray Vaughan,
Really? Okay.
free. And you know why I say that is because right before he died in a helicopter crash, he got off of the cocaine, off the heroin, off all of that shit, and he was sober when he died. And he, to me, was more remarkable not because of his music, but because he was so good, but he was not trained musically. Jimi Hendrix, despite what people say, fantastic guitar player, one of the best ever, but he was trained. He was trained. He played a certain way. Stevie Ray Vaughan figured that shit out all on his own. So I would love to have seen where he would have went with that.
Meanwhile, if you were to ask me who would I resurrect as a violinist, it's a tough one. It's between two people.
Clearly, it's Jubag.
Yeah. How did you know?
I miss Jubag. Remember when Jubag used to come on to these?
Yeah, it's been a couple years, but yeah. What is he doing now?
He's dead. He's got like 8 kids.
I know, man. I mean, I understand that Mexicans believe in large families, but god dang, when God said fill the earth, he wasn't just talking to him. Whew.
Yeah,
8 kids.
Rest in peace, Jubag. We love you. Quiero mojar ahora. Lo siento para la pasa.
Oh my gosh. It's like a treat whenever I hear Jim speak Spanish. It's like very rare.
Well, because you can't speak a lick of it. So, of course, I'm going to speak English.
Neptal, what the fuck happened to him?
He died.
He died too.
He's IRC now.
Why?
Because of me, probably.
What did you do to Pablo?
He messaged me on Steam because he won the IRC fantasy league, and then he was complaining that he thought the winner took all the money. I'm like, no. I said no.
Bunkei, do you know how to describe? I will give you the easiest thing you need to know, and say this every time to somebody that pisses you off that doesn't speak English, okay?
Okay.
La puta, repeat after me. La puta
Puta, doesn't that mean dick or
No, no, no,
ass?
shh.
Okay.
La puta.
You thought I knew. You thought I didn't know anything.
No,
did you?
you're wrong, but just follow me here. La puta
La puta
que
que
te
te
parió.
like Fabio?
Parió.
Fabio.
Parió.
Fabio. La puta.
Parió. La puta que te parió.
Hey, type it out
La
for me.
puta que te parió. La
Oh
puta
my
que te
god.
parió. If you say that to anyone, nobody will fuck you with you anymore. I swear.
What did I just say?
Well, you could try saying it correctly.
Would you type it out? Because I
Oh,
can actually.
Jesus. Oh, my wife is here. I'm trying.
Uh-oh. Of course, him shouting that. Now I'm kind of curious his wife's reaction to that.
La puta que te parió. Okay, you have to go bed now.
La puta te... can you spell it out for me?
La puta que te parió.
La puta te que Fabio.
Patio.
Patio?
Ario.
Oh. La puta te que Ario.
No, la puta
Pod
que
is a P there.
parió.
Patio.
There's a T there? Dario?
Patio.
Dario. O sea, la puta
Okay,
te que
no,
Dario.
no, Fabio. No es
La
Fabio.
puta te que tapar. Hold on. La puta
La
te que.
puta que te parió.
La puta te que Dario.
No, my God.
P.
La puta que te parió.
La puta te que parió.
Oh, no. Que
Yes,
te.
almost.
Que te
La
parió.
puta que
La
te
puta que te
parió.
parió.
La puta que te parió.
Yeah, no, parió.
Parió.
No, not parió.
Tario?
Not parió.
Pario. Padio?
Oh, not pario.
Padio.
No, Fabio.
Pario.
La
Pario?
puta que te parió.
La puta que te parió.
That was actually the closest you're gonna get.
Oh.
Wife came on, and it is time for me to go to the bed. Thank you guys so much.
That?
Yeah, it's same here. I didn't realize it was 11:10. God dang. Okay, thank you everyone for joining me. And hopefully
The word that gave you birth. That's what it means.
okay, I'm scared to click on it now. Now that since Jim is laughing so hard. So I was thinking that I might do a two-part show in a couple of weeks, a pre-Super Bowl show, and then a short post-Super Bowl show. Does that sound good, Jim?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right. Thank you, you guys. And for anyone I've offended by saying La Pute, Que Te, Dario.
Oh, trust me, nobody that speaks Spanish outside of me listens to me.
Okay. Okay. All right.
La puta que te parió.
Good night, folks. Baba La Vida.
Buenas noches.